Well, if you've ever met the Little Sisters of the Poor, they are probably the most underrated force in our country. Ohio State, when they were taking on some no-name college, said, "Oh, we're going to play the Little Sisters of the Poor. We don't have to worry." And over again, the Little Sisters of the Poor are always the butt end of a joke in terms of like when a team has to play a lower team. It's like anytime the Steelers play the Browns, you feel like the Steelers are playing the Little Sisters of the Poor. It's as if they're not going to put up a fight. It'll be an easy battle, right? Well, Little Sisters of the Poor are in the heart of a battle that you can feel across this country today. And even St. John Fisher, who we celebrate today, is a good character to look at. And as yesterday we celebrated the feast of St. Thomas More, and I think also St. Thomas Becket. These are all towering saints who had to defend religious liberty and the right to be able to worship and to be able to allow their consciences to thrive even when governments and kings were against them. And that's what's happening today. This week, the Supreme Court will have two decisions to look over. One is our state, run by our governor, suing the Little Sisters of the Poor over whether or not the Little Sisters of the Poor have to provide things that cause abortions and contraception to their employees. And the other is the court case called Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is the ironic case of a Catholic school, actually implementing, don't get too abrasive on this one, but implementing Catholic teaching in terms of upholding that amongst their teachers. So at any rate, the Supreme Court's coming out this week with these types of decisions. And yesterday I got to talk to the Little Sisters of the Poor head mother here in Pittsburgh. And when I got on the phone, I was expecting, you see the coronavirus. And what do the Little Sisters of the Poor do? They serve the most vulnerable, the group that's been most attacked by the coronavirus, which is the elderly. And what do the Little Sisters of the Poor, their attitude when I got on the phone was joy. She's like, all we did was we brought in the Our Lady of Fatima statue and we played 1,000,000 rosaries. And we're good. We were able to protect our elderly, our nuns, and all that. And she spent the whole time laughing about how this Our Lady of Fatima statue, which they quote unquote stole, so to speak, they didn't steal it, but they brought it in from another church and they brought it over and they were laughing about this statue and how praying 1,000,000 rosaries was the greatest response to the coronavirus and is the same response they're giving to the Supreme Court and our state suing them for millions of dollars because they want to live their Catholic teachings of not aborting babies or providing contraception. But you wouldn't even tell, talking to Mother Superior, that she was in the middle of this huge cataclysmic battle for the soul of our country. Why? Because she's consecrated her soul to God. And she doesn't allow the daily news to yank down or rob or steal or do violence for her sacred consecration to Jesus Christ. She's under the protection of Jesus and Mary and the saints. And it's so inspiring to hear how she and her community serve, love, and continue to live out the great tradition of our faith. Let's pray today that through the intercession of St. John Fisher, who defended religious freedom and died by getting beheaded by a king in England, that we too can have the courage to allow the faith that Jesus Christ gives to us to get us passionately fired up to live the gospel and to serve the most vulnerable.